Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to my series about Bethesda game modding, and we are modding Skyrim right now. And this is another episode when we will be talking about the distance. So, to make all those landscapes, all the views from the mountains of this Skyrim look a lot better, you need to mod the distance, because it's not very great. And also, there is another story. If you use, for example, Lanterns of Skyrim, which I just installed, or you use different player homes, you will not be able to see them at a distance. When they cross the rendering range and you will just come closer to them, they will suddenly pop up. And this is probably not what you want to do. If you get closer to them, suddenly look a lot better all this is something we will fix. But firstly, like I said, you should install all of the player homes and mods that are adding additional sources of light, like Lanterns of Skyrim, like I did. And then we go into dynamic distance object lot, or Dindu lot as it's called. And this only has 7,000 endorsements. However, it is amazing mod. It's a bit hard to use, but will provide you with amazing fidelity. The things will look very, very similar, and it will generate lot objects for all the things that you are missing. And at the same time, it will do not slow your game a lot, which is very, very important. It's great utility that will not slow down your game a lot, but it is hard to use. So firstly, for the requirements, we have SKSE, and we also have Papyrus util, which if you are following my guide, you have SKSE, you do not have Papyrus, and Dindu lot resources as well we need to install, and quite possibly, and billboards. And I will explain the billboards maybe right now, or how the actual distance work in the games like Skyrim. Basically, not everything is rendered in 3D. There are no meshes. What we are seeing is two-dimensional, billboards. We are seeing two-dimensional objects that are shown to us, and from the distance they should be very similar, at least in theory, to what we have. If you've spent a lot of time modding Skyrim, they might not. So, what to do? Well, we will firstly go to the Papyrus and we will install it, and then we have indistinguishable vanilla 3 billboards, which you will find link from the Dindu lot page itself, and just any options you feel like, either high res or lower res. It's mostly memory hungry, not diminishing your FPS, so you don't have to worry about that. And finally, billboards for Skyrim Flora overhaul, right? So we should go back to dynamic distance object load, go to files, and download those resources. And those resources we would be putting into our Nexus mod manager or mod organizer, whatever you are using. And finally, download the Dindu lot standalone and patches. Patches are also quite important. I will also download those. And Dindu lot standalone, which I also will put into in the same directory where our tools. You can basically put it anywhere but into Skyrim data folder. This is like a pretty bad choice, but aside from that, you can put it anywhere, even in your just Skyrim folder. Now, going to the Nexus mod manager, we will be installing the following. It is a short mod, so it will be available pretty much right now. And first thing, we will install would be Dindu lot resources. and this won't take long at all. But I just want to make sure that you are with me in this one, because like I said, the installation process is it takes some time, and it requires you to do things in the appropriate order, or it will not be working very well. So we will install this one, and after that we will install patches, and then we will install billboards. Yeah, so unfortunately unpacking this one takes a bit, because it is larger file, but it is the only large file that we will have here for the installing procedure. And unpacking is up to 50% of the work of the progress here. Then we will see the options, and obviously we will do a core, we will do Whiterun, Solitude, High Hrothgar, all of those. Why not? Performance options, low res, load textures, giant fires will not decrease your you can leave it on. It's not very it won't impact your system very much. Now low res load textures are fine, but I have 970 and NVIDIA 970, and it should be enough. Now for the MISC options, yeah, desyncing Bird of Prey is actually not so bad, because it is a bit weird when those birds flaps their wings at exactly the same rate. And this is for the resources. And now installation procedure should be relatively fast. But like I said, this is the only big thing that we need to install, at least in Nexus Mod Manager, because later what we will generate for the Dindolot would be a lot larger, and those will take a bit to install. Also, the generating of the LOD itself and Dindolot work will take quite a bit. And for the Dindolot patches, you just click what you are using, like realistic auto lights. This is not what we are doing. Latents of Skyrim, yes we do. And if you are using Beyond Reach or Enderal or any Bolagbal, Inferno, all those things, you might want to use those patches. But for now, for us, it's only Latents of Skyrim. Now, the next thing, and it installed immediately almost. Then, well, really at any point you can download and you can install Papyrus, because it's like I said, it's very quick. It just makes it is extender for scripts, so it doesn't really matter where it is. It just needs to, in the load order, it just have to be, I believe, below the Dindolot itself when we will create one, and it will be a moment. Alright, the next thing we will do is install vanilla Skyrim load billboards, and that should also be fairly instantaneous. And the only other, whenever you are using any mod, for example for trees, you need to install this mod in the order that you need to install the load for this mod in order that you've installed the mods themselves. So if you are, for example, using like first will always be vanilla loads. Then, for example, I am using the Flora Overhaul. I just need to find it. It was somewhere here. I do remember. It was somewhere here. Sorry, once more. LOD. That should get me. Yeah, Skyrim Flora Overhaul billboards, right? This is the mod themselves. These are the billboards, and we will override the load. We will override this reach shrub for this particular one. Although doesn't really matter, but we will go yes to mod, and then absolutely we will override whatever is in vanilla load billboards, because this is just an upgrade. And if you are using another mod like some particular type of tree or whatever you are using, you need to install this load as well after that. And yeah, beside that we are pretty much set. Now we will go into Tools, Dindulot, and run Text Generation 64, which will generate all the textures that will be used for the game. Now it shows text gen output, and quite frankly 256 is quite enough. So we will be leaving all of that on default and start. And this process will take a while because we already have our Skyrim is already pretty big. So I will get back to you when we are done with it. After text gen stop its work, and as you can see for me it was 6 minutes. So just exit, and then we have a new directory, and then we have textures. So what I want to do is to get this new directory and zip it into my Nexus Mod Manager Skyrim, making, well, a mod out of it. As you can see, it was very, very fast. And then I will run my Nexus Mod Manager. Because this is on the external drive, it is taking a bit to load this particular one. If you have it on your disk, it would be faster. But what is important right now is that it should be in unassigned, and we will just install TextGen output. You can rename it if you want. And yeah, we will override every texture because this is only for the loads from the previous mods. And from the Nordic Snow as well. Mostly for the optimization. And then we will run Dindolot itself. And again, we will run 64 version. And this one will be working slightly longer than the TextGen. So selecting all the spaces and then choosing a preset. I will just choose medium because I have 970. If you have anything better, you can run high, but it will still not impact, even on a high setting, it will not impact your game a lot. So yeah, let's see each other when this one will stop working. And now Dindolod has finished its work. We will just save and exit. Yeah, exiting, and we have Dindolod output right here, which we will pack again just to the same file, so it will be faster because it is a large file. It is a large file. It's, as you can see, 1.5 gigs. and we will be installing that as a mod as well. But that shouldn't take that long if I'm working from SSD to SSD. And then I can install it into the Nexus Mod Manager by adding new mod. And the installation of this mod will take a bit as well because it's large, and also you need to make sure that the Dindu load will be, the ESM will be active, and that would be pretty much it. That would be all we need to do to make Dindu load work. And results are amazing. And results are more amazing the more mods you are using, or if you just like to see how the world looks like from the distance. So documents, tools, Dindu load, and Dindu load output. Yeah. And now we have now it should be added. It might take a moment. Oh yes, here it is. And now we will install it. And installation is already at 51%, but as I've mentioned, it will take a bit. So I guess the next thing you need to do is to run your Skyrim. And this is pretty much the last episode of how to make your Skyrim prettier. We have made textures and landscapes and people, and we've made the lightning, and then right now we are doing the distance. So the next episode will be about immersion mods, the mods that will make your game feel like real world, the mods that will enhance the NPC behavior, because sometimes it's not just, well, they are not working very well. Like Granny starting to fighting a dragon, stuff like that, which is a bit crazy. And yes, we will have to overwrite. And there, it's installed. So right now I'll run the game and show you the changes. So